guys have been sending me so many AE86s for like ever, and I appreciate the help looking, but I had actually purchased this car in Japan a while ago and it just got delivered. You guys are about to see my first time looking at it in this clip here. All right, this is my first official time seeing the AE86 in the flesh. Johan just picked it up from port, and of all the cars that I've gotten from overseas, I've had the least photos of this one. So I asked Mike to come with me because I really don't know what I'm about. I've never even seen under the hood of this car. What are your impressions before I look at it? It's nice. Is it?
Very Japanese. Yeah, it looks good.
So a little background on the story behind this thing before I tear into it. I've been wanting one for a while, but the prices on them are just ridiculous. There were a few that I was looking at dealers in Japan, and I think the conversion had them somewhere in like the high 30s. This car popped up, and I kind of put what I refer to as a "f you" bid in it, where it was so low, it was like...
Mike knows all about that.
Yeah, well, no, not Mike's "f bids are like, I'm gonna put $50,000 on this, and I'm gonna get it for 20. Mine was like, this car is probably worth like 35. I'm gonna bid 20 on it. I won't get it, but whatever. I wake up the next morning, I get a text, hey, you won the car. I was like, sick. So they're awesome cars, but like to even pay over 20 grand for an AE86 is kind of ridiculous when you know what they are, but I've always wanted one and this one's kind of cool. It's red, it kind of looks like single stage paint.
Right.
Yeah.
But it looks good.
So what sold me on it originally was the fact that it looked like it had a fairly clean interior.
Which it does.
It's all there.
Yeah, the dash looks good.
It's got a few cracks in it.
Really?
Yeah, little ones here. Nothing crazy, but ooh, the seats are nice. I like the blue. The shifter and the center console and everything looks mint. The fact that like this whole cluster's here. Chelsea got really mad at me when I put a GoPro in his car because I guess the dome lights are like $300 and I broke his. So let's not put a GoPro there, Mike. But yeah, it's red. It would be cool to get a white one and like be all initial D style, but I just thought the red was cool. Overall, like I mean, it's.
Yeah, this is the key areas to work for.
Would you agree? Like I mean, the thing's definitely been resprayed.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's weird because it almost looks like original paint in some areas, and in other areas it just looks rough.
Yeah.
Japanese AE86s are more money, aren't they?
Huh?
Like they go for more money. It seems like at least looking at them, the JDM ones go for more.
It's just a weird market with these cars because in the US, like this one has the pop-up headlights, and then in Japan you could get the live in front, and so like it's like I don't know, a toss-up.
It almost seems like Japan doesn't want to let go of the AE86s because they're like, it's such a passionate car for them. Where in the US they weren't as big of a deal,
Right.
So like they almost value them more than we do. So the Japanese ones are more expensive. The fenders haven't been rolled. That's kind of rare.
Yeah. No, I mean, looking from the bottom, when we had it on the trailer, it looked pretty in really good shape.
Really?
No rust, like no major rust or like just surface rust. I mean, this right here could tell you.
Yeah. Solid.
This is probably $1,000.
Yeah, right. Underneath here it looks mint.
Yeah.
I think they put this on the roll cage just for shipping. Because it wasn't like this in the photos, it was just black.
Oh, really?
I don't like bolt-in cages, I hate bolt-in cages. That was probably the biggest drawback of this car, but again, it was like one of those things where like, I didn't pay, in my opinion, what I would consider to be top dollar, so I accepted that it had a bolt-in cage, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's very Japanese. And this
Shifter, brand new shift knob.
Yeah.
It's crazy how nice that makes a car feel. And the seats on this are mint. I wonder if these are the same as the ones in Chelsea's car, where they actually have like a little...
I wonder if this was the factory color and that it's
pretty good
faded to
bolster.
blue. I think that's what it is. So it was black originally.
The ones in Chelsea's car, they actually have like a little thing that you squish and it increases the bolster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think these have that.
A little pump in there.
But the thing that I'm the most excited to see, I've never seen under the hood pictures. And like, I was praying that like maybe it has like some little ITBs or something on it. Johan's smiling, so either it's got a lot of stuff or not a lot. Damn. I wonder if a polish would clean up this paint a little bit.
Probably help a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
And it looks fairly stock.
Yeah.
But clean.
Super clean. This is one of those things where I know like absolutely nothing that, oh, the oil cooler. That's a big oil cooler. But like I know nothing that I'm looking at. So like you might see this if you're an AE86 guy, like, oh, he has that intake manifold. Where I look at this and I'm just like, yep, it's got an engine, it's all there. We don't use these often. That's different for me.
The classic Japanese red and blue AN lines.
Is it TRD?
Oh, the
Oh,
cables.
wow.
Yeah.
My AN lines are TRD.
Panasonic battery.
There's no way stock headers look like that. Do you think it's tuned? Do people tune these things?
I don't know anything about these cars.
It's got a GIP.
I'm excited. So like,
Started right up.
I thought that this, based on photos, I thought that this thing was like crazy gem. still super nice. I don't think it's like a showroom gem collector car. So I'm excited that I'll probably end up driving this car more than I originally thought. I thought that this was just gonna be like something I park and like stare at, but I think this thing's gonna get driven. Not like door-to-door tandems, but
It's at that point where you could.
little overspray. It's a good like, it's not a 10-footer, it's like a 5-footer. Definitely could use a little bit of body work, but it looks great for now. For the thumbnail photos, it's a real looker. I'm just so excited. Like just the experience of being in this car and just being able to rip it around. Does the AC work?
Don't know.
Imagine.
It has an AC compressor.
All right, maybe the AC doesn't work. Yo, this thing revs like really easy. What if it's got a built engine? What if it's got some fancy stuff?
It's like every JDM car that comes in here. What if it has to? What if it has that?
Yeah.
I almost don't want to check and just tell myself that it's got some crazy like race car like built 4AG in it or something. It's definitely got a light flywheel. This thing sounds sick. I wonder if it's got a diff in it.
Only one way to find out.
Hell yeah.
Damn, it got HID.
Oh, there you go. You gotta just do one pull. I can't resist. It has oil in it, right? We just realized too, this is the oldest car that I own. CRX isn't older, right?
No.
So this is a 1985.
Yep.
That's older than me. So this is a new experience for me. I'm used to all my 2000s JDM junk, and now I've got a real old one. I could not be more excited though. Like throughout the series, you guys will see like the cars just increasingly get better and better. But I do think that like the anticipation I've had waiting for this car and the excitement to drive it and do things with it, it's probably been more than anything else. It's gonna get way faster, bro. It's got one of those little silencer things in it, and it sounded. So here's my thing. I like induction noise on these things, so I think that the exhaust might end up being a little bit too loud to where we'll go to a quieter exhaust once we put ITBs on it. But it almost looks aluminum, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Alright, go inside. Wow.
Hell yeah. You ready?
There you go.
Hell yeah, bro. Bro, I got spare lug nuts with this thing. Oh my god, you know what I just realized? This is also my first 4-lug car. So it has extra because this comes for enough for 4 or 5 lug wheels. I can't wait to eat some chicken tikka masala. I got leftovers. Being right. Dude, definitely not fast.
Yeah.
But it sounds so sick. Definitely a little loud for me. Having one of these, like, oh, I can already. I'm sending this car to the Smokies, dude. Screw that. I'm gonna show up to all the GT3 guys in this, and I'm gonna be like, sup. And if I can keep up with them. It's not fast, but it's also not that slow. It kind of reminds me of the speed of the CRX before the CRX cracks VTEC. Should we see if it has a diff in it real quick? See, I wasn't even gonna, like, originally I thought this car was so clean, I wasn't even gonna ever drift it. Because I was like, this thing's a gem. This thing's definitely getting drifted. Yeah, it's got a diff in
It sounds so good.
it. It's got a diff, bro.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Hell yeah.
Might put a welded in there or something. Nice.
It's a clean street drifter.
Yeah.
Not that we're drifting on the streets, but like street car, drift car, especially once the AC's working and it's got all the interior. This crack isn't even that bad. I love that it still has all the pieces. Yeah. Definitely doesn't have angle mods. I just confirmed. It does drive way nicer than like I would expect a car this old to drive though. Like there's not really many clunks or anything. There's a little weird clunk when I first stepped on the brakes. I'm really, really stoked to have this thing, and I'm stoked at how clean it is, and I'm also stoked that it's a little rougher than I thought it was gonna be.
Stoked. Pumped. To be stoked. We're pumped. We're gonna put a 2J in it.
Coming up next week. Of all the cars I'm doing this with, I think I was most excited for this. I don't know that it's going to be the fastest, but it's definitely going to be one of the most fun, and I'll probably be able to drive this car the hardest. Originally, I thought this thing was a lot cleaner, so I didn't think that I would be able to drive this car at its limit, but we're about to have some fun. Before we see what this car can do, let's take a look at the lap times that the previous cars have put down. All right, guys, here we go. Power is good. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me. We're gonna have some fun. Woo! She's dancing. Understeer, managing it. Tap the brakes, turn in. Corolla. Obviously this thing's not as fast in a straight line, but to me, like in the driver's seat, it feels like it's corners just as well as the E36 did. So yeah, like it carries some pretty decent corner speed.
That's sick.
Yeah,
This thing is cool.
it's a handful though. Like there's definitely some blown out bushings in the front because I'm like braking and I can feel the wheels like doing this. The lug nuts are tight, so I had peace of mind there, but I'm just imagining all the bushings pretty much don't exist anymore at this point. Did I mention this car's older than I am? And unfortunately, the A86 did not take out the E36 like I had hoped, but it did take out the GX100 with a whopping 35.09. Now 1 second may seem like not a lot, but this is technically on like a 30-second lap, so that would be like, on a 2-minute lap, that would be like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Yay, math. It's another one of those things, like, I don't know what the plan is. I wanted to own an A86, so I got an A86. It's definitely not a daily, it's definitely not a drift car, but it's a smile machine, and like, I've already had so much fun with it, and I've owned it for like 3 hours. I really don't know what else to do in this video. There's one last thing. I learned from the boys on our last trip, and it involves a cone. Some would refer to it as rings, lad. Definitely not fast. Yeah. But it sounds so sick. Maybe a little loud for me.